on our way to get all of our blessings.
Hello there, and welcome to another 5 Minutes with Vino. As you can see, we've got something new going on. We've got a new studio, and we've been doing a lot of things. We just relaunched our website again last week at www.vinoinspires.com, where you can, it's a one-stop shop. You can go there and you can get access to all our social media platforms and see all the content that we've produced over the last year and a half. And also, an avenue to reach out and participate and give feedback. So please check it out as we grow this community. But today's topic has to do with mental health. It's a broad topic. And this topic is just inspired by the space and season that we're in right now, right? I don't think I'm going to be able to exhaust it in one setting, or not even in 2 or 3 settings, because, the mental health conversation has to be a continuous conversation. Listen, we've endured physical isolation like we've never experienced in our lifetime. And we're now seeing the consequences of that isolation, right? Reduced social contact, interaction with peers, or lack thereof, economic impacts, loss of livelihood. A lot of folks lost their jobs, right? Increased rates of domestic violence and decreased access to mental health services is creating a mental health epidemic. I also understand from a spiritual standpoint, as a man of faith, that people tend to stay quiet about their mental health, which is exactly what the enemy is hoping for, right? That you continue to suffer in silence and not speak up. Also, depending on your culture or societal background, mental health conversations they're sometimes taboo. It carries a negative connotation, a negative stigma. Therefore, people tend to stay quiet as not to be seen in that light or that capacity. For this episode, I want to break down some of these things and empower you to start having these conversations. In fact, I chose to specifically release this video as we enter the festive season, because so that you can have these conversations around the dinner table with your loved ones in a place of comfort where no one will judge you. Listen, according to Dr. Caroline Leaf, she's a cognitive neuroscientist. When we suppress the need to speak on our mental health, 1,400 neurophysiological responses work against us. And these are things that should be working in our favor. When we suppress it, we feel the need to not speak up, and we hold it in, we bottle it in. For whatever reasons that I just kind of talked about, all these responses work against us. And when those things work against us, what ends up happening is, from a physical standpoint, we accumulate so much stress within, and it begins to manifest in so many other ways, right? We have outbursts, our attitudes, even from, we start feeling sick because we have so much inside of us that we're not able to let out. And you know, the way you view these symptoms and your approach will actually determine the caliber of life you live, right? You must be intentional about it. You must face it head on. Mental health should be embraced rather than left unchecked. Sustained neglect of your mental health can be catastrophic. Listen, I don't have it, and I know there's certainly no panacea for mental health, but what I want to do today is share some keys that will help you cope and adjust, some practical and some inspired through scripture to deal with your mental health. You know, the very first one I want you to stay with me and hear me out. Key number one, you owe it to yourself to be in a space that supports a positive mental status. You owe it to yourself. It is your responsibility to put yourself in a space that supports a positive mental status. Do not put yourself in positions that compromises your mental health, or neither should you place yourself in situations where it can be manipulated. Let me read that again. You owe it to yourself to be in a space that supports a positive mental status. Do not put yourself in positions that compromise your mental health, or neither should you place yourself in situations where it can be manipulated. It's heavy. It's heavy. And it's such a broad area. And just for today, I think we'll tackle just this first one, right? And I want to start with something that most of us can relate to. I can relate to, and I can speak of it with some personal experience. And this is in marriage, the partners that we choose. Listen, marriage is honorable and the bed undefiled, as is in scripture. I'm all for the institution of marriage. However, there are a few things that we need to consider prior to making a decision on who our partners or our spouses will be. The first one, you must understand that no person, no physical being can get you to a space of happiness. Happiness has to come from within you. A man or a woman cannot make you happy. It needs to come from within you. So if your intentions is looking to partner up with someone because you're thinking they'll bring you happiness, then you're putting yourself at risk of a mental health breakdown. Because that's not how it works. B, you must consider that, once you're married, this is heavy, the burdens of your spouse and your partner also becomes your burden. Scripture says the two shall become one. Not just with the good things, but also with the bad qualities, right? You must understand that. So imagine this, if your partner is not in the best state of mental health, and now you have to bring their burdens on you. It is very, very important that you have someone that will support your mental health. It's imperative that you do. Our partners are the ones that we spend the most times with, right? So Imagine if you have one that does not support your mental health, then you're in a big mess. Listen, and this is from personal experience. Like a few weeks ago, not even a month, I'm home and I just felt some type of way. And I have different mechanisms to deal with, life, right? And but I decided to call my wife, and I expressed myself, and God bless her, because within the hour she came home to support me in that mental space that I was in, and that's a blessing, because not all of us can boast of that. For some of us, we're in abusive relationships, both physical and mental. We continue to lie to ourselves that things are going to get better, while it's only getting worse. We're suffering in silence because we don't want to be laughed at as the person who's separated from their partner. You don't want to be the talk of the town. You don't want to be the topic, You're crying in your closet every day. You're stressed. You're losing weight. You're not yourself. You've turned over to medication. And in some instances, drugs, just to cope. All because you choose to stay in a compromising position. You make excuses to yourself on why you need to stay there. Well, we have a lot of children, and they take care of all the bills. What am I going to do? Well, I've been with it. Listen, just understand that you're choosing to be in a place of mind, in a state wherein your mental health can be affected. It is a choice that you're making, and you must understand that. So I want to read this one key again, the first key to understanding your mental health and forging, a space wherein you can cope with it and you can manage it. You owe it to yourself to be in a place that supports a positive mental status. Do not put yourself in positions that compromises your mental health, or neither should you place yourself in situations where it can be manipulated. I think it's a good place to stop today. It will be about a 3 to 4 part series as we go and we really dive into these topics and have conversation. And I'm going to solicit feedback from you. I want to hear from you. How are you coping with your mental health? What scenarios are you using? What techniques are you using? How are you managing it? How are you balancing it? What is proven right for you? What works for you? What do you have to say about? I want to hear from you. Because in a way, we can all learn from each other. It is imperative that we do. So please provide the feedback that you've got. You can always go to our website, send me an email, Vino Inspires, www.vinoinspires.com. You can go on our social media page on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Or you can call our business line on 951-644-6169, 951-644-6169. Till next time, I believe in you. God bless.
We are on our way to get all of our blessings.